Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about the vast majority of this market. But before we jump in, I just want to ask how everybody's weekend has been. The UFC event last night, for anybody out there that does watch it, was incredible. It was a very great time. Hope everybody else had a great time yesterday. But yeah, today we are going to be talking about a few warnings in this market. So we actually have the biggest losers on the 7-day span here, and we do see a few of them. So Crypto.com's token is down astronomically, down about 50% on the 7-day span, down about 22.5% on the last 24-hour span. Some of these tokens, I'm not going to say that these are like low risk tokens. Like, I would bet on this probably bouncing back at some point in time if they aren't insolvent or anything like that. This thing did almost hit like almost $1. So it's a very interesting one, to say the least. I think that this is one of those tokens that it could have a nice bounce back, but we don't know. Everything is so uncertain in this market, so I wouldn't even recommend doing that. But a lot of other exchange tokens are also down astronomically. Qcoin down almost 20%. Huobi down like 2%, but almost down 40% on the 7-day span. I think that there was a few other ones as well. But yeah, a lot of these tokens are doing very, very bad in terms of exchange tokens because a lot of individuals are moving their assets off these exchanges. They're reacting without any sort of thought process. And it is causing most of the market to kind of take a hit as well. I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty around this market right now. We're going to get into it. I also do think that this is a major warning sign to not only go and move all of your assets from these exchanges to cold storage. I think that cold storage is the best option, especially when things are uncertain. I mean, could we overreact? Sure, 100%. We could overreact. We can get fearful of what's going to happen, but nobody knows what's going to happen next. We could only kind of make hypothetical, guesses off of what we have in terms of the information. One thing that is concerning to me is these exchanges working together to kind of make things look better on paper, but we know behind the scenes things are not that great. We do see over here from Utility Theory, Binance 100+ million to Crypto.com, exchanges helping exchanges while citizens get screwed. And here you guys have some direct flow from Binance Hot Wallet to Crypto.com's wallet for the past week. About 72 million, 30 million, and then 18 million, all before Crypto.com posts their cold wallet addresses. Here you guys have all of the inflows. Very concerning. I mean, it's not that bad, but it is still $100 million. The concerning thing here, though, to me, is the holding amounts of some of their assets. So here we have Crypto.com's CEO and founder Chris just released their proof of reserve. The scary part is they hold more Shiba Inu than Ethereum. And here you guys have their holdings. So Bitcoin about 31.19%, Shiba Inu 19.85%, Ethereum 16.97%, USDC 6.71%, USDT 4.97%, and then others is about 20.33%, with a total amount almost nearing $3 billion. To me, this is interesting, to say the least. Now, we got a few updates on this. So we actually do see over here from _748, Crypto.com holds all users' assets one-to-one in cold wallet. No assets are being converted into another asset for leverage. The preliminary proof of reserve shows 32% of CrowFam holds Bitcoin, 20% holds Shiba Inu, and 17% holds Ethereum. Now, the interesting thing here is that this is from somebody who obviously invests in Crow. From what I've been looking at, I cannot find anybody else really kind of talking about this. But the problem here to me around any of these exchanges is you cannot trust anything, because also there's been a lot of individuals making some crazy posts over on Twitter. We've been seeing a lot of fear mongering around this market. You don't know what you can trust. There's not a lot of information on a lot of this stuff because these exchanges are not fully 100% transparent, which is always the thing that I look at when we look at a lot of these exchanges. I don't trust any exchange, any size exchange either. It does not matter if they are the #1 top tier exchange. I don't trust any centralized exchanges at all. I strictly utilize them as an on and off ramp to invest and withdraw immediately after. But we do see get your money off crypto.com immediately. I have enough information from enough credible people, including speakers on stage today, to confidently recommend this. Hosting a space now, so can't add all the reasons why I'm recommending this, but will do afterwards. And this is from Mario Nawfal over on Twitter. But we do see down here from Pawns_Ethereum. Honestly, I've given so much bad info over the last week, it almost makes me think I should buy Crow. I will go find another source. Again, there's not a ton of, there's not a ton of information on a lot of this, but I will say, like, whenever you have speculation like this in Twitter, like on crypto Twitter, it just morphs into this big snowball effect. A lot of individuals just start panicking, and then you see like these exchanges start to kind of like there's not a lot of liquidity in crypto anyways. Like a lot of people think that this market is extremely liquid, that they could easily just save everything, but we've learned our lesson many times over that that is just not the case. A lot of these large exchanges are playing with customer funds, and it's a big issue. Now, of course, do I think that crypto.com is going to start to crash and go to zero? It's hard to say. I cannot make that assumption just because I don't feel confident enough to do so. We know that crypto.com has been a big exchange, and it has been one of the biggest ones to make a lot of noise in this space for a while. They have major partnerships with some major sports names, like even UFC, for an example. But this exchange is probably getting dealt a bad hand right now. I think that a lot of people are really kind of overshooting and trying to create FUD at the worst time in the market, which, again, we will get to that here in a second and really kind of talk about what's happening with this market and the major warning signs going forward. But I will say this. You can never, overreact in situations like this. You got to kind of sit down, relax, really take a deep breath. And I think that everyone shouldn't be holding any assets on any exchanges during this time anyways. A lot of people ask me and they question like, okay, well, what if the market pumps tomorrow? Like I have my assets on cold storage. You could easily send your, assets from cold storage to an exchange and sell whenever you want to. A lot of people want to time the top on any asset. You shouldn't do that. If you have life-changing wealth, if your assets, say for so you invested $10,000 and now it's worth $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, and you're not taking profit on that, I'm just going to say right now that is not a good idea. You should always realize profit when it is life-changing to you. Obviously, yes, accommodate for taxes, but at the end of the day, there's some people out there that life-changing wealth to them is like $1,000, $10,000. So if you have 100+ K and you want to just continue holding it, that's totally fine. But a lot of people ask me like, what if I want to sell and I can't withdraw it fast enough? Like, again, the issue here isn't you being worried about not being able to sell your crypto. It's the idea of like, what if you have no crypto to sell because these exchanges go insolvent and all of a sudden everything goes to zero? Like, that's the biggest issue here. That's what everyone should be concerned about. Right now, I don't think that we have to really worry about selling crypto. I don't think that tomorrow the market's going to turn around and go to 100K on Bitcoin and the entire market's going to be sitting at $5 trillion plus in market cap. Like, no, that is not the case. I think everyone should be looking at cold storage, wallets. DCENT Wallet, by the way. So a lot of people have been asking me what cold storage mechanisms I use. I have a Ledger and I also have a DCENT Wallet. A lot of people do love DCENT Wallet over Ledger. Again, it's all personal preference. It's all up to what you guys want to do. I will say this though, Ledger has not given me a discount link at all. You do not get a discount by utilizing my Ledger affiliate link at all. But if you wanted to save money, if you wanted to get cold storage that is, tried, tested, and true, a lot of people love DCENT Wallet. I have one. I think that's great. I love the biometric, feature on it. You guys could save $30 on the single package, and you could save up to $100 on the 2X package, which you get 2 wallets, which is great if you have somebody else that, maybe you have a friend that's in crypto, whatever. You guys could use these links down in the comments below and in the description below. I'll leave them in the comments and the description. I think that everyone should be looking at cold storage right now. These are a great way to not only store your crypto, but also, really, I would say sleep soundly knowing that your crypto is safe. And and you could look on DCENT Wallet's website as well for their supported tokens. and you can look through all of them. I think that I think QNT is supported. A lot of people have been asking me about QNT. So yeah, QNT is supported. You can look at XRP as well. XRP is supported. Hbar is supported. In fact, DCENT Wallet was one of the first wallets to actually support Hbar as well. But that is strictly up to you if you want to utilize a Ledger or a DCENT Wallet. They're both down in the comments below and the description below. But like I said, DCENT Wallet does have a way better deal. You're actually saving money utilizing my DCENT Wallet link. Again, Ledger, you don't really save money at all. But what I have been looking at is the after effects and the aftershock of what could happen with a lot of these exchanges going insolvent or possibly even, crashing. We've been looking at QNT. A lot of people have been asking me, where am I buying QNT at in terms of price valuations? I'm waiting to see if this thing is going to go lower. But I will say, I'm looking to see if $103 is going to be our full bottom realized in on QNT because there's a lot of support here. We've been looking at volume profiles. This has been a big one to me because I think that the volume profile, let me make sure that I'm getting the right one here. Sorry, that's actually not the right one. I apologize real quick, guys. We've been looking at the volume profile to gauge on where individuals are going to be buying QNT at. I think the biggest one to me is I've been looking at the $60 to like $80 range as being the big area, and a lot of people have been asking me like why. And it's really simply just where a lot of the buy range is. So this is what I've been looking at in terms of the volume profile. This kind of gives us a little bit of a gauge. Let me remove. Oh, sorry. I guess I can't remove that aspect of this, but it's all good. So what I've been looking at in terms of where a lot of the buy range targets are, you can see most of them are right around like the $40 range, which everyone has been waiting for a while, which is totally fine. I get that, but what I've been looking at is just this range up here where there's not a lot of demand. I mean, like, technically speaking, there's not a lot of demand compared to like 40, but this is a huge demand area, even going all the way back to like July of 2021 and the summer of 2021. QNT is one of those assets that I've been looking at, and it's like, okay, well, where is the bullish chart for? Like, show me something that looks bullish on QNT, because even in terms of the Bitcoin price chart, all of the demand is down here at around like 2,875 sats. This is probably one of the most bearish Bitcoin price charts in this market right now. Everyone's trying to gauge on what's going to happen next on this, but this looks like it's going to continue to slide down the range. Now, a lot of these assets look like this, but XRP is one that has been, really kind of performing very well compared to what we have seen in this market. One thing that I'm looking at is if we are going to continue to slide on XRP, because XRP could come back down to test 28 cents, but we've also had this demand channel down here, which is sitting at about like 22 to about 25 cents. Volume profile on this one as well. We can kind of gauge what's happening with this. Or sorry, I did not mean to click that user's name. So a lot of the demand is right under that range, actually. Interesting, because all of the demand is going all the way back to like the summer of 2020, which would be sitting at about like 17 cents to almost like 20 cents, which is that a possibility? Sure, it is. But I do believe that this range up here is a pretty good area. I mean, this is like the support channel of the SEC lawsuit time frame in the market where everything was kind of oversold. It's also September 2020's bottom before we ran all the way up to about like 78 cents, almost 79 cents. So I've been looking at if we are going to break down below some major support, which the breaking sign on this would be losing that low that we recently created back on November 7th. We've also been looking at Hbar. Hbar, I do have this buy range down here at about like 2.5 cents to 3.5 cents. Now, are these all guaranteed to hit? No. In fact, like this market could bounce back strongly in a short amount of time. But look at where a lot of the demand on Hbar is. A lot of people actually have buys down here at about like 1 cent, but most of the demand is at the 3 cent to about like 3.5 cent zone anyways, which I do completely agree with. This would be macro support all the way back to 2021. So this is like yearly support that a lot of people are buying at, which I think will be targeted at some point in time. Hbar also very bearish in terms of its Bitcoin price chart and even its USD chart, which here is the Bitcoin price chart for this thing. Again, looks pretty rough. And we have been gauging on where this is going to head to. Again, I already have my buy zones set up on Hbar, which I've let you guys know about. I haven't been buying Hbar in a while, which I've been very transparent about. One of the tokens that I have been buying like crazy has been Casper. And yes, I still have been averaging into this one here and there. Haven't been going extremely heavy just because I've been telling you guys, like I've been looking at a few of the areas that I want to buy at. Now, a lot of this up here is sell volume. You can see the sell volume over here and stuff like that. But what I have been looking at is just where this thing could go to. So up here is most likely sell volume. Like a lot of this is probably just sell volume itself. But down here is what I have been looking at on Casper. So Casper to me is still in a very bearish downtrend, but it has been looking like a very good chart to start to look at in terms of like the accumulation zone, which would be down here at about like 2.5 cents. Again, it's like 275. This is an area that I've been interested in to see if we are going to hold this or continue to break lower to about like to the low back in June again, which would be like it's like almost 2 cents exact, like 22.3. So I've been looking at this one and I've been trying to gauge on what's going to happen with this token. This one is one that I've locked up and I've been staking on Casper.live. But with all of this, everyone has been looking at the dollar and saying, okay, well, everything in crypto is bottomed out because the dollar is starting to drop, right? This is just one of many indicators around what could happen with this market. I do think that the dollar right now, everyone should be looking at on the weekly, the demand range here, which would be 105, almost 106. If we don't get a significant bounce here, then yeah, I would say that the dollar looks pretty concerning because we will most likely come back down to test the 50 weekly EMA or possibly even the 200 EMA, which is all the way down here, which this would be a lot more demand technically. Now, RSI to me is at a neutral level, and it looks like we could be seeing a possible RSI retest of maybe the March of 2020 low. If we don't bounce off of there in terms of the RSI, which I expect us to do so, then we will have a continued downside. The interesting thing here is that we could be also repeating the pattern right before the March of 2020 heat up on the US dollar, which if we did kind of have that repeated pattern, then we would have a strong impulsive move back up, which technically could push the market a little bit lower. This would realize a lot of those buy zones, and we would top out at about 115. Interesting thing about this possible wave of, it's almost like a V-wave correction that we had back here. Going back to the macro view, the 115 area, which I've also kind of charted this in a previous video before as well, but the interesting thing about this 115 level is that there's no resistance on this at all on the weekly. I've been looking at the 3-day. So, excuse me. The thing is that I've also been looking at the 120 level as being the topping point. I've always said that that would be the big area. There is some resistance on the 3-day span at the 115 area, but there's not a clear sign of resistance. I would say the big area to focus on would be about like 118. And even then, like what would be the big difference about like 118 to about like 120? These are like this range here, this whole range of, I mean, realistically speaking, it's like 116 to 118. Like this whole area here would be pretty bearish in my opinion for crypto, but it would also kind of signal the US dollar nearing its exhausted stage, which realistically speaking, going off of what we have seen in the past and what we see presently on the US dollar chart, is it kind of being exhausted already. So what I've been looking at is, okay, well, if we retest this point here at about like 114 and we break above it, then there's probably a big sign that we are going to continue to rally to about 120, and then that will be our topping point for the US dollar. But we could have already have topped on the US dollar. We've seen the media get pretty bearish. The big sign is to watch stocks tomorrow. I think stocks will be the big key sign tomorrow. That's what I have been looking at in my opinion, just to kind of gauge what's going to happen next with this market. I don't think that the US dollar itself should just be the only indicator that you have in your arsenal. I think that everyone should be looking at stocks. The indice opening is a big, crucial time to really kind of gauge on what's going to happen next with this market. Obviously, yes, the US dollar will move astronomically this week, which is what we have been looking at, engaging on what's going to happen next. But the big thing right now is focus on crypto exchanges. Focus on the FUD around crypto. There's been a lot of it. It could spread pretty quick. We could see some big moves within exchanges. I would say maybe right now is the best time to start looking at cold storage. Like I said, I've been utilizing a lot of cold storage lately because you just can't trust any of these exchanges right now. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are on this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.